This is our first season war against ASR. I got quite a few fights this war. We weren't really trying because it was Christmas Eve, so it was kind of a preseason war for us, but we still wanted to clear the best of our abilities, so I got quite a few fights this war, and I had quite a few Quake fights, which I don't normally get after my introduction to 4 Loki, where I struggled a little bit. This is a pretty straightforward Quake fight here. He's not stubborn, so basically it's just Quake and Shake. I do have full suicides on, so I threw on a combat regen boost because I wasn't sure how much the rock field damage was actually going to do, but he ended up dropping very nicely. It was a pretty straightforward fight, just had to not get hit, so that's always the challenge with Quake, and let's be honest, I'm not the greatest at not getting hit. That right there was because I got a new phone and the screen protector I'm still not totally used to, so it just kind of froze for a second, but we made it through no problem. He was stunned, thank goodness, so he went down extremely easily. Next fight up, we have an invisible woman. Basically, she is stubborn, so it's a Quake parry fight. Now, I was kind of nervous about it just because I haven't got to use Quake too much in these wars, so it's going to feel good to actually be able to use her quite a bit, because I do love Quake. So I still have my combat regen boost. I didn't potion up or anything because the regen was going to keep me topped up enough where as long as I don't get hit, I should be fine. So, waiting on her shield. As you can see, Quake absolutely destroys her. Her damage is unbelievable. She does have masochism, so every time I parry, when she doesn't have the concussion up, it still regens her. So basically, I forgot about it right there, and I took a 5-hit combo to the face, and got kind of worried there, but knocked her back a little bit just to make sure that I would have the time with the concussion so I could parry no problem. And after that little hiccup, everything went fine. So those were my first 2 fights. Waited here for a little bit, and then we go up to the mini starting the second tier on the left hand side, where basically he has EMP modification, where if you do trigger a buff, he gains a charge, and if he uses a special, he puts that shock on you. Where as long as I don't suck here and basically don't give him any power by getting hit or hitting him, I shouldn't have to worry about that at all. So, things are looking pretty good right here. I'm not too worried about it. I've quaked Magneto quite a bit ever since his update, just because he can be a pain in the butt if you use anybody that's metal, which a lot of champions are metal. So I've just resorted to quaking him more than anything. Knock him back a little bit just to make sure I have the spacing, and he goes down no problem. One more heavy to finish him off. Now we start the fun of path 1 where everybody can regen, where we have this Sentinel. Obviously Magneto is going to reverse regeneration. He already has Indomitable, so regen won't do anything. So basically it's a straightforward Mags fight, just parry heavy. It's kind of the easiest champion in the game to play, and that's kind of what I've been taking all my fights with, so he helped out on my streak quite a bit last season, because let's be honest, this playstyle isn't the most difficult, especially when you're just fighting metal defenders. So he does have stubborn on him, but doesn't matter because we're just going to parry anyways, so it knocks the stubborn off, get to an SP2, and why not just kill him with a crit? Don't need to wait for the SP3. Now, this fight is going to be another Quake fight. I had to back out because I had it happen one time where if you go into the fight and then start the recording and you don't back out, it automatically kills you, which I don't know if it's fixed or not. It happened to me once, so I'm very skeptical of it. I still have suicides on at this point because I haven't used Doom yet. So basically this is going to be a Quake parry fight. Just, don't let him get stubborn like I did, because then you do no damage, where he doesn't want to go into me twice, so I evade, and there we go. We finally get the stubborn off right before the ticks. So he goes down no problem after that. We just had to make sure that we don't get hit because his block penetration is insane. So I don't want to take any hits that aren't parries like I am right now, because it does more damage than anybody else through block, it feels like, where if I get too many of them, it'll kill me. And we don't really get hit, but look at all that damage just from block and suicide, so it's nice that that's Quake's last fight. Now, this fight is possibly the longest fight I've ever had in war history. It's the Strike Counter Fury. I sped it up just because it is so long. Everything looks great right here, looks fantastic, but he's regenning off of everything because every time he has a stagger on him and he procs the power gain, it actually goes to me. Where right here, I should be throwing all my specials. Every time I get a special, I should throw it, because as you can see, those suppress counters are really starting to climb. Once those climb, you don't gain power after you hit him. Basically, this is the point where I start to get a little worried, because every time I gain a bar of power and then I hit him, it's gone. And he's regenning off of everything I do. If I evade, he gains a regen because of the dex. If I nullify his power gain, he regens. So basically, right here, I'm worried that I'm not even going to finish this fight, because as you can see, as much damage as I'm doing, I can't throw a special to get the actual damage, where I really need it. So basically, I just keep trucking along, because I'm like, well, I don't want to give up halfway through. I made a couple mistakes in this fight, but it actually helped me gain some power, which, helped out actually quite a bit. I can throw a couple specials here, as long as I don't nullify that power gain like I do, because my Doom is duped. He automatically turns into shock, and we just keep going. Basically, it's the same cycle over and over again. 5 hits, or 4 hit heavy. Back up, do it again, 4 hit heavy, and just at this point, I'm just hoping to out damage him. And it just is a never-ending cycle, and it just keeps looking like I'm never going to do enough damage. I thought I was dead after this SP1, because that burn is really starting to hurt. Shouldn't be going for as many heavies as I am while he's in the corner, because as you can see, it's kind of bit me in the butt a couple times. But it's just never ending. And right here is when I almost just turned it off and said, you know what, this fight has been long enough, why even do this? But I just keep parrying heavy. For some reason, it looks to me like I'm doing more damage than I was before. Doesn't make sense to me, but in the fight I'm like, wait, I might actually have a chance to do this as long as I keep playing smart. So I just kept going, trying not to get hit again, because as we saw, it did a lot of damage with his SP1, and somehow, some way, we eventually get him down, and the backhand kills him. The longest fight of my life. So, and then we have the Hulkbuster on the Rage Mini, which I've taken this fight quite a few times, and I actually it's a really interesting fight, because I think I've taken an SP3 from him almost every one of them, and since Doom is a tank and he just refuses to die, it feels like, unless you're against Hitmonkey, he eats it no problem. So my playstyle with this one is I try to throw as many SP1s as possible. I didn't take off MD like I probably should have, so every time his buffs go away, basically I gain too much power. So I try to keep the stubborn on by parrying as much as possible, so I keep the anti-stubborn on. Throw an SP3 because I gained way too much power, which, it's not going to do any damage because of the rage cap. counts as one hit, so you get 2.5%, which makes this fight even longer when you do all the animations and everything. So I do the normal Doom combo, throw an SP1, and basically I just try to parry and light attack only, just to keep his power below two bars. Because as soon as he throws that special, I'm not going to evade it, just because I'm not skilled enough by any stretch of the imagination to dodge projectiles like that. So I try to keep him under I try to keep him under 2 bars of power as much as possible, which it wasn't too difficult as long as I light attacked, because of Doom's Azareth of his aura. So, and then SP1 to steal even more power. Now, I need to throw more SP2s when I do this fight, because yes, they're all going to damage cap his SP2s, but the burn damage afterwards does so much damage. Like, that's where you really get the damage from him. And then right there, I miss a parry, which, you know, is always great. Then throw an SP1, make sure he has no buffs on him. Because the one thing that I always try to watch out in this fight is when he gets those armor ups, Doom doesn't nullify as often, and none of his shock sticks, so you can't backhand him. So basically, he has unblockable now, where if I throw an SP1, it'll nullify it and make it go away. So, and then this fight is no problem after that. Just gotta make sure you don't get hit by the unblockable specials. And he's done. I don't know why I threw an SP3 here, just to make the fight even longer, I guess, because he had 1%, knew it was going to kill him. But who doesn't love seeing a wonderful Doom SP3? And then we head over to this guillotine, and I get to use my wonderful Magneto one more time. One of my favorite champions in the game by far. He basically just rinses the Snowed. He makes it nothing. Anytime there's a metal defender on here, we usually send a Magneto just because it's game over. She's not going to be able to power drain Magneto. It's something like 60% of the time. So, and I always feel like that 60% is way higher than that because it rarely ever happens. He is just a beast against all yeah, it's straightforward parry fight at this point. No problem whatsoever. She tries to drain my power here. Decks it. It doesn't take any power because of that AAR. Which, then we just get to an SP3. And it's game over. Throw it real quick, make sure you have all the prowess, and she dies instantly. Yeah, first part of the SP3 she dies, which is just beautiful to see. And then we have my last fight of the war, which is going to be Professor X on Special 2 Bias and a whole bunch of extra power gain. So I heal up my Doom because we took a beating after that last fight. And we hop in here, these wonderful load times. You know, Taters told me to duel the fight before. Of course, I took the Dreamin' method where we don't even know what duels are. So, the name of the game is try to keep the falter off as much as possible. So, anytime I see the falter approaching, I want to knock it off because I don't want him to be able to falter when I need to go in after his specials to make sure that he doesn't gain those bonus charges. Now, you'll see a couple times where I lose track of the falter, like right here. I miss. I got super lucky. And I hit into him too many times and got smacked in the face. But it was just before the special, so it worked out perfectly because I wouldn't have been able to hit him after the special. We have 8 charges here, so we can still go in, backhand him. Nice crit on the backhand. And he has falter again. And I eat an SP2 because I don't know how to dodge. I can't go in because he does have falter active. So I should have only attacked once, but I attacked twice. But that puts us to an SP3. So basically, we hit him hard. With the SP3, he'll be stunned afterwards, and then we can do our wonderful Doom combo, the medium, medium, light, 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 medium, medium. So there it is. And then he dashes back at the end of it, so I didn't get to hit him with my SP1 to drain his power. So I parry and then light attack a whole bunch, just to keep his power as reduced as possible, get back to an SP1 so I can steal some power. I need to throw it again because, as you can see, I don't have my aura up, so I can't steal power from him. But I do have Falter off of him. He has 10 charges left, so we can hit him if he does throw a special. But he decides to just melt instead. And now I can't hit him, so I attack into the Falter, let it go, and then dodge the last special, go in after him because we can, because the Falter's off. Could have finished him with a backhand, but, you know, we wanted to get cute with it, and there we go. And that was the war versus ASR. We did lose this one, unfortunately, but, you know, it was a solid performance by all of us, and hopefully we'll do better the next one.